Hello, everyone. Keep you waiting for a minute there. We are live, I believe. I'm going to give the stream a minute to catch up. Let me know my audio and my visual is coming through good. You can hear me and see me. But welcome to another live broadcast. I can't keep up with the things that are happening in the world, and I'm sure you're the same. And it's going to be a very powerful show. I believe our most impactful and powerful show yet. Got some very important information to go through today about looking through disclosure. If you caught Ashtar's message this morning, which came in a couple of days ago, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's time to get busy with the sovereign way of life and stop waiting for some of us. And we're going to get into that tonight. We have a very powerful, in my view, sovereignty installation, activation, meditation journey. Say that quickly 3 times. At the end of the slideshow, I'm going to be going through with you tonight. But we've got the Department of Energy posting things like this now. And this is just sort of the norm now. And this is a very important layer or divulgence of how the layers are going to be used. Now, this came in August the 15th, was on the official X account of the Department of Energy. But the wording here is important. Fusion, of course, in the narrative is nothing new. And many of you have seen this. I may have even shown this to you before. But what's important here is the title. Okay, energy without limits. Well, why is that important? Well, when you have a free energy disclosure locomotive, okay, barreling through the undergrowth, about to come into the public scene, this kind of wording, amalgamated with everything else that's going on, is extremely important. Of course, we have the blue symbology here. Now, if you watch the Marvel movies, you'll know that the Tesseract cube is blue. It seems to be a quantum color, okay? And the Pleiadians, of course, pink blue energy. Those of you Pleiadian starseeds out there will be familiar with this color. But what's so important about this is that back in March, you remember we did a show on this, and of course, there's been a couple of Pleiadian transmissions on this. The Alliance of Sovereign Nations event happened for the first time ever. And one of the biggest, I'm not going to get into that because we've done that in another show. One of the biggest narratives in that is energy independence. Why would you need energy independence? What's wrong with the old grid? Okay, what's wrong with electricity? There's nothing wrong with it, but it's infiltrated and controlled, and one of the key areas of control for the Cabal's network. Now we know that it's nothing new, but what is new is we're seeing in wording now, and we're going to get into this in a bit, the white hats and what they're planning on. Now, I don't think the disclosure chapter that we're in is going to look anything like what we think it's going to look like. This is not a movie. Okay, this is a real collective of human people that need to evolve and are evolving. We're rising in consciousness and we're driving the material side of this disclosure. But it's not going to be like, oh, free energy is announced or med beds are announced. It's not going to be like that. Now, we may get drops of that once more firmer industry is established, but we're not going to get it in the way that we think. And that's fine because the white hats know this. They're operating in code. There's going to be a chapter of coded messages which continue. And it's going to look like this. I'm going to show you something here. This is exactly how it's going to look like. So hold on, let me share my screen with you. Okay. Let me just make sure that's okay. Gotta just do something here. Yes, allow. Okay. So hopefully you can see, maybe you can't see that. Okay, maybe I can't do that. I've not got permissions allowed here, which is frustrating because I wanted to show you something here. Is there any other way I can screen share this with you? Share your window, open settings. Google Chrome. I've got to restart Google Chrome to do that, which I can't do because we're already in a live broadcast. Unfortunately, I can't show you that, so I'll have to show you that on the time. But what we're going to see is, I can describe it to you. We're going to see the old world. Okay, then we're going to see messages and we're going to see implementation of the new world come up underneath it. Okay, kind of like a dream scene. And one is going to fade into the other. Excuse me, one is going to fade into the other. Okay, so the old world is going to fade out of reality into the new. Okay, and that is, it seems to be what we're seeing as how the narrative is going to play out and how these new systems are going to get installed. So very exciting, but it's going to be a very tumultuous time because we have this cabal, this old guard, who are going to try and gum up the works. They're going to try and muddy the waters. They're going to try and confuse. They're going to try and pull people into separation. We know all the tricks. Okay, so we're savvy to them, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be chaotic. We have all kinds of scenarios now, as I've mentioned before, which are on the table in terms of sort of 3 days of darkness and emergency broadcast systems. We're aware and we're ready for this. And if you're not ready or not aware of this, that's fine. But just have it in your back pocket, because there are going to be people around you who are quite shocked by some of the things that are going to unfold. Okay, so be prepared for this. So anyway, let me know where you're from in the live chat. I know you already are doing this. We have a truly global audience. I think my audio and visual is coming through good. Welcome, of course, to our YouTube viewers and our Inner Circle members. If you're not yet a member on Patreon, come and join us. Come and join the party over there. We've got some really cool things coming. We've got new Telegram groups launching for Patreon members. We've got a Sovereign Academy launching at the end of this year / to the beginning of next, which is extremely important for the next chapter of humanity, in my opinion. Of course, we're not the be all end all, but we have got some cool stuff to teach and share with you that we are practicing. And it is important now to look for sovereign systems. Okay, now, a big thing about the disclosures that are coming, and I'm going to do a reading in a minute, as we normally do, but the big thing about the disclosures that are coming, medbeds, free energy, and a lot more, okay, is that they're going to use the old system to bring the new system up from. Okay, well, the new system is more of the hidden system, so you could sort of reverse that. But they're going to bring the new technologies up through the old system, and we know this from the Q posts, if you followed these, that they're going to use the old system to restore what can be used for good. Okay, now it's been hijacked and used for negative, for service to self agenda from the deep state, from the cabal. But they're going to use the old system, because everyone's familiar with it, to install and bring up from underneath the advanced hidden technologies that we've had for tens of thousands, if not millions of years now, of course, hundreds of years in modern humanity. But they're going to use the old system. Okay, they're going to turn that against the cabal. We know that. Now, there's going to be nuances in that, and not going to use everything. And we know that infiltration was the key technique from the cabal. Infiltrate everything. And you had, there's a wonderful video, there's many of them, from the former Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who said very plainly in the podcast, every area of a major institution has been infiltrated by the deep state. Her words. All right, now it's a massive statement from the former Director of National Intelligence, a very high level of office. Okay, so we've got this now in the mainstream. It's been talked about. Everything that we thought of in conspiracy circles that we were ridiculed for decades is coming out as truth for the most part. Not everything, but for the most part. Now, there's some psyops in there, okay? There's plenty of psyops in there as well, which are going to not come out. And some of you are going to have a difficult time with some of those realities. So just stay agile. Don't get too fixed to any outcome, okay? We're connected to everything. We're attached to nothing. Very important for the next chapter, all right? So let's, hold on a minute. Why haven't I got my, it doesn't matter, I don't need that. Those of you who have not got this book yet, Earth, Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library from, Barbara Marciniak. It is really a starseed Bible in many regards. Okay, it is a very, very powerful series of books that Barbara brought out back in the 80s. This is one of them. And it tells a wonderful history of Earth from a Pleiadian perspective. Okay, so be aware of that. It's not going to be the same perspective as from the Mantid beings or from the Venusians or from the Arcturians, but this is a Pleiadian account. Okay, and it's very, very interesting, very activating, very triggering. So be prepared for that. Many of you, when we talk about readings and little passages in the inner circle on Patreon, quite regularly actually. But if you haven't yet got this book, pick it up. And now we start the show before we get into the slideshow with a reading. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to flick through the pages live, and we're going to ask our Pleiadian guides. Now, if you want to join me real quick to guide us to a particular page that is important for us to receive at this time for whatever reason. It may become clear right away why that reason is important. It may not, but it will be the right page and information to read. So let's open our hearts and be prepared for that. Okay, I flick through. This is not planned. Where are we here? We're going to do page 42. Okay. This is where my finger stopped. Okay, close your eyes and receive if you feel so called to do so. Here we go. Those who took over your planet won it in a war. The new Earth was valuable. However, they were far removed from the memory of what Earth's value was. Interesting. They mined your planet for gold, came for water, raped your psyche, and robbed you of your essence, thinking they were reaping the abundance. Yet, once this planet was won, they overlooked the true riches because they didn't know how to recognize them. These owners or gods know that humans can access something by operating out of love. What do we talk about on the shows every week? And that is why the love frequency has been so scarce on your planet. The owners did not want the riches to be discovered by anyone else until they could discover the riches for themselves. They will not discover these riches until they operate in the love frequency. What's driving disclosure? Okay, what is ascension? This they must learn, and you will teach them. Okay, even though these energies have been unable to activate the library and get what they wanted out of it, they have figured out another use for it. They have been intent all these years on increasing the population and gearing Earth up for as many humans as possible to emit an emotional frequency of chaos and fear on a regular basis. Okay, they've done a good job. It is time for the story to be told, and for all people to stop believing in this foolishness of religions and gods that limit them, calling them sinners and telling them that their lives are wrong. What is wrong is all life not being valued. Okay. The lives of grass, of humans, of animals, of flowers are all valuable. It's all God expressing. Okay. This is universal truth. Important word. You have a right to your sexuality, to speak what you feel, and to follow your own truth and not obey someone's silly rules. You must grow and change beyond your current ideas that offer only one version of existence. Okay. Understand that as humans, you have been told many different stories so that you could grow into the comprehension of the universal spirit, the great web of consciousness of which you are a part. Your religions serve a purpose. However, they are steeped in falsehoods. Religions were created to give you, as humans, some way of comprehending your identity, which is a valuable thing to learn. However, the information disseminated to you through the various religions gives you a limited perspective of who you are and keeps you disempowered. Very important. Any religion is a perspective upon existence. The stories, the individuals, and the myths that make up a religion are all used in different ways to affect the behavior of populations. Remember, as any group of people focuses their energy and intent, their collective thought forms produce an energetic mass that moves out into existence. Okay, powerful stuff. Page 42 and 43 of Earth. Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library. Pick up a copy if you feel so called. We're not sponsored by this book. We don't receive royalties from it by anyone buying it. I just have found so much value from it many, many, many years ago when I first picked it up. Very activating for me. But there's one key word in there, which is truth, which I maybe want to start the show off on because we're not really talking about that today. And Valir has really been very, very clear on this. And we're going to go into more depth into this in the Sovereign Academy. But there are two versions of truth. Okay, this is very important for you to get. There is human truth, which can take very specific formats, which is very specific to you. Okay. And then there is divine truth. I'll call it divine truth. It's really just truth. Now, human truths are everything which do not represent truths leading to omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. Okay, which have divine laws, divine principles, and practices attached to them. That is truth. So every thought, word, and deed, which is divine truth, real truth, has its way through to one of those three core things. Now, I add on a fourth. I add on omniamorous, all loving. Okay, and that's the Creator's principles. And if you're experiencing discord in your life in some capacity, you are violating one of those four things in some way, subconsciously or consciously. Now, we're not going to get into that. That's a part of the Sovereign Academy curriculum. Very excited for that. But human truths are basically all the specifics that don't lead down that path. Okay. Now, our goal as the family of light, and you can agree or disagree with this is my opinion, is conscious union with God. That is my goal for my human life. Okay, conscious union with God. Many paths to doing that and accomplishing that. However, the destination is always the same. Religion will not get you there. So if that's your goal and you're in a religion right now, I encourage you to explore other paths. That's what I did. I was in Christianity for a number of years, and my goal is conscious union with God. Couldn't find it, couldn't find anyone living the path that I wanted to out of the hundreds and thousands of people that I met over the years in different denominations of Christianity, by the way, and certainly the one that I was in as well. And so I had to leave, had to find and sit at the feet of teachers, masters who'd accomplished what I'm looking for. Success is very simple. All right. Have a compelling reason and a goal. All right. Find people that have accomplished that. Sit at their feet. Serve them if need be. Add value to them. Learn their rituals, habits, and routines. Implement those into your life. Don't stop. And then you're going to accomplish very similar things to what they did. All right. Failure is not real. A great teacher of mine said, failure is only final if you do not have faith to finish. Okay, I love that quote. So truth is very, very important in this next chapter of humanity because it's going to be thrown out there in the mainstream narrative. There's only one truth, and that is God is the only power. Okay, now there are core truths which surround that. That's the one truth. And then there's everything else. All right, so be mindful of this. Okay. Scroll through the chat. How are we doing? Anyone feeling tired? Holy cow. The last 3 days for me have been brutal. Just waking up feeling like I've been hit by a train. So we are, as per Mira's message tomorrow, by the way, which I gave a snippet to, I think, on X and the Inner Circle members. Mira's message makes total sense as to why we've been feeling so I've been feeling so tired the last 3 days. Crazy tiredness and fatigue. Nothing to do with diet, all energy. I can feel it now. And it's to do with the upgrades and the astral work we're doing and the energies that are coming through. So, of course, we know that, but it's good validation. So thank you to Davina for sending that message through, which came through, I think today or yesterday. I can't remember now. But I was like, okay, well, this makes a ton of sense. It's not just me. Just woke up from a nap. Yeah, indeed. Okay, come on. You're rambling, David. Let's get into tonight's show. So what's really, really important here, guys, is that we are not getting lost, okay, in the disclosure Trojan horse. We've already let it into the gates. That's okay. But what is the disclosure Trojan horse? It's the reliance on these things to bring us freedom. Okay, remember Ashtar's message. The technology is not your freedom. Yes, Heather, we're broadcasting live to 3 channels: the Today's Universe Message, Sunflower Live, and GFL Station. Don't worry. The technology is not your freedom. Okay, very, very important. However, we will embrace it as it comes along. So let's get into tonight's show. Please pause and read this disclaimer. I'm not going to read it out. We share it every week. Very important. Do not continue on with the show unless you understand this disclaimer and you've read it. If you want to join up on Patreon, come and join us. Don't wait. We've got cool things coming, and it's only going to get more amazing there. All right. If you want to join up yourself, hit the join button. Do not hit the gift membership if you want to join yourself. Okay. Only hit the gift membership at the bottom there where the cross is if you want to give a membership away. Right. Hit join like this when you see the screen if you want to join up. We are in the middle of a 90-day challenge. If you're a member on Patreon and are not yet in the group chat, find this in your chats. Come and join the group chat. Come and join the conversation. Lots of amazing things shared every day here. Okay, really, really important message went live today from Ashtar. Here's a little snippet that wasn't in the final message. The White Hats will keep rolling out the greatest disclosures of your lifetime, dressed as something else. Okay, what was I saying? Why the costumes? Because most of your brothers and sisters in the human collective could not yet survive the shift in reality the plain truth would bring. You may agree with that, you may not. I don't know. I tend to agree with it now. Okay. And a dose measured for a sleeping patient is mercy rather than trickery. Free energy is arriving wearing the word fusion. Okay. Very amazing. Medbeds are arriving as hospitals, isotopes, and cancer beams with licenses and invoices instead of glowing capsules. One plant is even named Chrysalis. Go look this up. This is very interesting. I had to look this up. A cocoon paid for by an office called Energy Dominance. The moon is also significant. We've been hearing things about the moon. Someone sent me something from Michael Saller about a battle which took place with Space Force and Dark Fleet, I think it was. I haven't read into that. I've not heard anything from Ashtar. I do believe Ashtar was involved. However, I'll just put it there, put it out there. But I've got no things I can share with you right now. The race with the East is the permission slip that lets hidden compartments finally speak. The hunger of the thinking machines, AI, is the cover story for building star power at speed. Okay. Everything is happening underneath these headlines. So don't take things on surface value. All right. You're the ones awake enough to read the label. So look through the label. Truth has been carried past the sleeping, one costume at a time, and it's headed for your kitchen table. True that. Okay, looking through disclosure, very important, guys. Preparing humanity for galactic integration. The time is now to prepare for this. Do not sit back. You are not a spectator. You are a key participator in the Great Awakening. Okay. Let's take this off here. The breaking in period, what looks like X is actually Y. This is so important. The soft unveiling of advanced technology has already begun. The word before the thing, okay? We saw the DOE on August the 15th on their official account. They posted fusion, energy without limits. Okay. 2 months after finalizing a national roadmap to commercialize fusion, go and research this, on the most rapid responsible timeline in history. A scarcity era institution is now teaching its public the language of abundance. The language of abundance. Very important. Okay, Ashtar reminds us the vocabulary always arrives first. A civilization had the word before the thing. What have you been taught in the mainstream up to now? What's the inversion? Lack and limitation, scarcity, shortages. Not true. Okay, this is the illusion. This is the falsehood. There is no lack. There is no limitation. There is no nothing but abundance, guys. Okay, so the language is twofold. Which one are you buying into? The doom and gloom of lack and limitation? Well, that's the inversion. It's the false reality. Or what's coming through now from official sources? Finally, limitless energy. Okay, it's coming. Not that one, this one. The palatable wrapper. Expect the key, this is so important, the key disclosures of this season to keep arriving dressed as something the mainstream can already digest. Okay, you're gonna have to get your goggles on, get your specs on, and see through what's on the surface narrative with everything. Okay, fusion is actually real physics and real federal program, and it may also be the acceptable public face for a deeper returning. Okay. When a timeline reads like a schedule, or when something comes out in the narrative, ask the honest question: is this a sprint of discovery or a calendar of release? Okay, the dual broadcast. Within days, the very same desk posted Drill Baby Drill. Besides Energy Without Limits, two stories of civilization are running from one account. The old one keeping the room calm while the new one warms it up. Love that. Quiet signatures like this one are left for the ground crew to find. All right, we're given the breadcrumbs for now, still. Okay. Enough to pass the sleeping eye, yet unmistakable to the awakened one. A key decoder for the season at the bottom here, if you're reading along. Watch for language leaps. This is important. Okay. Compressed timelines. All right. Who's talking about these crazy things, these compressed timelines and accelerated timelines? Elon Musk. Suddenly it's become, we have 3 years. Well, have we got 3 years to make money left as human beings? Well, all this stuff is coming. Okay. So watch for the language leaps, compressed timelines, leapfrog results with no development trail behind them. Very important. Christening tells like Quantum Genesis and the Q competition, and both stories broadcast at the same time. This is the breaking in period. All right, we're in the breaking in period of this disclosure right now. 1,000 small wonders acclimating the collective nervous system by slow degrees. I don't think it's slow personally. I really don't. I think this is extremely fast. But anyway. The Trojan horse of disclosure. Sovereignty is realized within. Material means can only furnish the house that sovereignty is already built, has already built. The waiting room test, waiting on a med bed for your health, free energy for your bills, or the QFS for your money quietly reinstalls the oldest program on earth. Okay. My freedom lives outside of me. It's the same thing with religion, right? Don't fall into this Trojan horse. Don't fall into this trap. Every gift of this season arrives with the test folded inside it, and the test is always the same. Will you make the gift your savior? Okay. Sovereignty is realized within. Material means can only furnish the house that sovereignty has already built. Let's read it again. Sovereignty is realized within. Material means can only furnish the house that sovereignty has already built. Really important, guys, that you get this. Okay. The technologies are genuine gifts to the material plane, and they carry zero sovereignty in the crate. A liberator, by definition, which is you, listen to this, by the way, is the one thing nobody can hand you. Receive every gift with gratitude while your freedom keeps its source or address within. Very, very important, guys. You are disclosure. The second form of disclosure is the material version. Okay. Run everything through the prism test. Number 3. A true beam multiplies your questions and hands you back to your own discernment. a counterfeit or fake beam, demands your allegiance and hands you a leash. Anything marked as your salvation, a product, a platform, a paywall, a promise, is the leash. Pay attention to this. Very important. Okay. The wing and the fire. A wing without fire lies still on the ground. Atlantis received the wing first, and the wing carried them into ruin. What was that? The belief in separation. Okay. The belief in separation. The vow of this transition is that the order reverses. The fire comes first this time, and the fire is lit within. Very important. All right, let's race through these slides because we have got a very powerful meditation to do. So I want to start getting your mind into looking through the current system. Okay. Now we've got a slide coming up, which is about consent. Now, of course, from Valir, we've got the sovereignty consent veil. And we're going to be going deeper into this in Valir's book, which is soon to be released, his first book. There's 7 volumes, I think. Will end up being 7 volumes of this material, all new, and you haven't heard this before. But as it relates to what we know about consent in the system, the Cabal have thrived off silent consent. Okay. Now, in this season now, in this chapter that we're in, when it comes to all areas of your life, all right, finances, taxes, health, food, all of this stuff, I want you to start to look into where you are silently consenting to things that you do not believe in. It's no good to no longer say, yeah, it's corrupt, but there's nothing else we can do about it. Yes, there is. There's so many new sovereign systems and programs that are waiting for you. New sovereign communities launching every single day. Things like in America, the American States Assembly. Right? If you don't know about that, look into it. It's an entire collective of sovereign beings who have removed themselves from the system. I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm not advocating for not paying taxes or not whatever. I'm not advocating for any of that. You must discern this for yourself. Read the disclaimer at the beginning of tonight's show. But what I'm saying is that work out for you what is sovereign. Okay. And see if your actions are lining up to your belief systems. Because for many people, they just go along with consent. That keeps the system and the enslavement system alive. Very, very important. Sovereignty is reclamation of lining up with what you value to what you do, and vice versa. Okay, very important. Let's carry on. The long dependency, cut it being from its supply. We know this. We just read this in Barbara Marciniak's book. Very interesting. The 12-strand template was unplugged and the frequency fence was raised, dimming humanity's direct line to source by design. In Ashtar's message, the 3 channels of the dimming, chemical, rhythmic, and attention, the water, the light, and the endless social media scroll. Okay. Very important. The substitution, with the inner current veiled, every human need was rerouted through an external gate. A temple, a priest, a crown, a bank, a grid, whatever it is. Even our oldest tablets remember an origin story of beings fashioned to serve another's supply line. How far back does the dependency template truly go? Great question. Okay. The dependency equation, for hundreds of thousands of years, one formula is true. Control of the material world means equals consent of the dependent. All right. Control of the material means equals consent of the dependent. Trust your inner guidance, guys. Scarcity was an architecture, never a shortage. In Ashtar's message, he called it a harvest. Of course, the Law of One calls it this too. Levied on every soul who needed light, heat, and motion. Okay, at the bottom here, important point, what disclosure is for. Again, the reclamation of power is the entire point of disclosure. Disclosure on the outside exists to trigger disclosure within. And the two are converging on the same organ of sight. This is the remembering the white hats are waiting to witness in the ground crew. Everyone's got a really important role right now, guys. Some people are trying to fight the system and take it down. Some people are behind that in sort of the white hat groups who are doing that. There are people like probably you watching this, who are more interested in embodying the new template in thought, word, and deed and building the new, right? Everyone has their part to play. There's no right or wrong. No one's in the wrong for doing what they're doing, right? But pick your little contribution. It is very important, all right? The new communities that are springing up that I know about, and we're going to be launching one of them in the future, in not that long, are a representation of what we believe in. Sovereign systems, right? What are you consenting to still? Very important, very important, very important. The consent machine. The old order rarely asks for your yes. This is extremely important. It engineers your silence, and that is your consent signature. Okay. Many of you already know this, but some of you don't. And some people are waking up that need this information. So please share it as you feel called to do so. Silence can be engineered into consent, and the effect is measurable. This is one of the etheric treaties that has allowed the Cabal to operate. All right. Flip one default checkbox, and organ donor consent moves from 12% in opt in Germany to 99% in opt out Austria. Go research this. Same humans, different default. Tax withholding started in 1943. It runs the same circuit. Money you never see is money you never question. Collected with the least amount of squawks. Okay. What is the taxation system? How are you contributing to it? What's the sovereign alternative? Okay, look into these things, guys. The fine print veil. This is very interesting. And if you know about this, but go and look this up. The biggest lie on the internet in 2016 by researchers Obar and Oldorf Hirsch. They invited 543 students to join a fake social network called Name Drop. Now, 74% skipped the fine print entirely. Readers barely averaged a minute on policies, needing half an hour to read. And 98% of people in this study accepted hidden clauses that shared their data with the NSA and signed over their firstborn child. Okay, wild stuff, guys. The study takes its title from the phrase, "We all click past." I have read and agreed to these terms. All right. It's no longer okay to get bored by the fine print, guys. Learn the systems and use the systems for good. They can be used for good. But if you ignore them and continue to give your consent to things, all right, that do not serve your belief and value system, the system is going to continue for you. It's a self-tying noose. All right. This is what sovereignty is it's very important as regards to sovereignty, what sovereignty is. Taking back control. All right. Not in resistance, not in hate, not in fear, none of these things. We're not running away from, we're running towards. Very different approach. Do not run away from a system that you don't want to consent to. Run towards what you do. All right. Don't create resistance. That's important energetically. The exit asymmetry. Entry takes one click. Exit takes certified mail, fees, forms, and penalties. Language inversion completes the spell. The revenue code's own term is voluntary compliance. All right, we're a very compliant collective, but this is changing now, and it's driven by us. What happens when someone tries to leave? The guarding of the exit is the marking of the door. Think about this. 4 questions to catch it live. Did I ever actually check a box? Is exit harder than entry? Is the true price hidden at the point of use? Does the language invert the power? The machinery is documented choice architecture. The intent behind it is our interpretive layer. And we say so by our consent. Okay, let's carry on. If you are not currently involved with the 90-day challenge, pause the video and read through this. We're currently doing a 90-day challenge of connecting to source. Okay, so pause this and read it. We have a point system that I've included with this. If you feel called to use it, read through this and include this of a master edition. So pause the slideshow and read through this. I'll get to our work tonight in a second here. So our 90-day challenge, guys, is all about that sovereign blueprint, the reclamation of our true connection to source. Okay. Now, those of you who are doing this 90-day challenge are reporting magic and miracles and amazing things, are experiencing things for the first time. Some of you are very advanced spiritual practitioners as well. And when I got on this path many, many years ago of really following a true mystical path and following in the footsteps of specific teachings and making God realization, living in the atmosphere of source of God, living by grace, my absolute number one priority, things started to shift at an amazing level. Okay, and I was already what I thought at an incredible level. Now, we only ever touch the next rung of the ladder. There is no end to the ladder. The ladder goes on infinitely. So even though that is what I have just said, I feel like I'm at the beginning of the ladder. So that is always the way. It will always be the way. And it's important to maintain some form of gratitude. And if you can say self-appointed humility as we approach this mystical path. Now, this 90-day challenge, which ends end of September, it's still time for you to join, guys. You don't have to use the point system, but go back and read what it's all about. And I promise you things. I promise you this. It will bring things to your experience which will resemble magical miracles if you do it faithfully, and it will lead you on a path that you'll never be able to turn back from in the most amazing way. Now, what do we read in Barbara Marciniak's book? We read that the only breaker of the spell, if you like, is love. Okay, that is the core of everything. Now, that is what Creator is. Creator is love. God is love at the core form. Okay, the core of Creator is love. And when we are expressing and embodying the love frequency, we are in connection, right? We're in receivership of that divine signal. So very, very important stuff, guys. So tonight, we're about to get into tonight's meditation very shortly. I raced through tonight's slides for you. The fire within. Tonight we're going to be gathering at our own personal pyramid of light. Archangel Michael will be with us, but he hasn't got a message, but he'll be with us. Okay, be helping us to get rid of these etheric contracts that we have made. Okay, so we are working with the archangels again tonight. We're going to be getting rid of some of these etheric consent contracts. Then we will forge a small diamond of light above the heart, the sovereign seed, and write 5 gifts into it. It's going to be a powerful one. The fire of remembrance, true consent, the prism of discernment. And then we rise towards the tip of the pyramid. So then we journey to the planetary chakra, and we're going to merge the sovereign seed into the collective field. Okay, why is this important? This sovereign seed is going to activate and give others who are on this path a path of light towards sovereign activation, so they can start to find their sovereign people, communities, methods. As soon as you decide you're truly going to reclaim your sovereignty, things will be brought to you. And many people are still waiting on disclosure. Stop waiting. Start reclaiming your sovereign blueprint, right? Be ready for a new sovereign financial system. Be ready for a new level of abundance. Okay, start to give more, start to tithe more, start to let the energy flow. Remember that you're standing beneath a waterfall, not just financially, of everything. Start to give. Start to give as if what you're giving is of infinite resource, because it is. The things in the material world are manifestations from the etheric, and the etheric is infinite. Okay, money is just an effect of supply. What is supply? It's divine grace, connection to source. And money is an effect of this. It is not supply. It's an effect of it. Okay. So when you're ready to really receive abundance, stand underneath the waterfall with a bucket. And guess what? People will show up to receive. And you can give them. You can give from your 0 point space. But more importantly, you have to get this. There will be those who come along to receive who say, I want to learn how to stand under the waterfall as well. And you'll say, glad you asked. This is how I did it. Come along. Now, there won't be many that do that, but there'll be 1 in 1,000. And that 1 in 1,000 will add up to an amount of people which will change the very frequency of this reality. It's already happening. The cascade effect is already happening. If you're watching this show tonight, you're part of this movement. It's decentralized, doesn't have a name. Now, I know I create systems and programs and books and what have you, and I call them things because I like those structures. I like to structure it that way. But our movement is decentralized. There is no beginning and there is no end to it. Why? Because it's a connection to the divine, and there is no beginning or the end to the divine. There is no good and evil. There is only God. Okay? Important. So we will be installing the sovereign seed, which is an octahedron. Okay? Which is 2 pyramids back to back, if you like. An octahedron. Humanity is living through the season of disclosure, and waiting is its final trap. From tonight, a sovereign seed rests at the heart of the world in the collective memory, answering every soul who truly asks, handing them the fire within, the memory of real consent, and the road to the builders of the new earth. Okay. Beautiful stuff. Okay, quick Q&A. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the live chat in all caps, all caps. And we'll have a quick answering session before we get into tonight's meditation real quick. Couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. So if you do have a question at all, please do pop it in the chat now. 700 of you live. Indeed, Vanessa, you're not just part of it, you're a key part of it. Oh, NTV, that's a big question. So I did, Darren asked this question last week in the live chat. I didn't get around to answering it. So I posted in the Patreon group about, I said that God is not operating the human scene. And again, these are intellectually conveyed concepts. And you must use your own discernment. You must use your own experience and not take my word for any of this, of course. But here is my understanding of this from my experience personally, is that the mystics always talk about God. Of course, God is spirit. God is the all-power, all-knowing, all-present power of the universe, the only power. Okay. Now, the human way of life is in a density. It's in an octave of reality, of frequency. And so we know that God exists. And if you don't know, then that's for you to establish. So I know God exists. And God can be connected to. All right, now the higher densities you go up will be different connections to source. The more you go up, 4th, 5th, 6th, as Ra talks about, of course, in the Law of One, the more doors you open to source, the closer you get essentially, but not sort of linear distance. However, in 3rd density, God is not operating in the human scene. Now, you know until one thing, but I'll get to that in a minute. You know that God is not operating in the human scene because of the discord, lack, and limitation, which is rife, okay, across the human scene. So either you have a God of wrath, as per the Old Testament, a God is deciding who to bless, who to not. Okay. You either believe in that, or you believe that the concept of God is not as we've been told. Now, I can tell you now that the denomination of Christianity that I was in, the concept of God is a human concept of God. It doesn't exist. The vast majority of prayers do not get answered. Get interested in that. Why is that? But then why do some get answered? We're going to do a whole show on receptivity, right? But you know that God does not operate in the human scene until you start to get still and get out of the way. When you get still and get out of the way, you start to allow creators to work in your experience. Now, that's not to get anything in your human life, right? The moment you start to try and get things for your human life, to get better humanhood, all right, you lose the connection. Why? Because you're already assuming that God is withholding it from you. You're violating one of the 4 keys I mentioned. This is mysticism, guys, conscious oneness with God. That's the path I'm on, dedicated every day, every night. That's my life. I haven't read this in a book. These are principles. Well, I have, but they're principles that I'm practicing. All right. So when God is not in the human scene, until you move into a state of receptivity, you'll never receive that divine grace. Now, if you have received a mad piece of magic or miracle, you've moved in some way into a state of receptivity. Now, a state of receptivity can be a nanosecond. All right. The reason why some prayers are answered is because, in my view, and I've been sort of exploring this, in my opinion, you can enter a state of receptivity by going to meditation. There's a protocol for that, and then moving out of the way into the listening ear, right, into receptivity, whereby you're in true prayer, in true meditation, which is not my will but thine. Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth. Okay, you're waiting to be imparted to. You're not praying to God. You're not telling God. You're not asking God. You're moving out of the way. How can I receive your divine grace? Lead me, guide me. You're listening. That's true prayer. Okay. We know that from all the mystic saints and sages who have achieved high levels of enlightenment. It's something I practice, and I know that for myself. But you can also enter states of receptivity inadvertently. For example, if you take a big deep breath in now and feel that tension in your body and let it out, there'll be a point where you let it out where you feel completely relaxed. Could be a nanosecond, okay? It could be an extended period of stillness, which is why breath work is really important and used to center and anchor into the present moment, the stillness. So you can achieve receptivity in that split second, and creator can work in your experience. That's why some prayers get answered, by the way. At some point, that person has entered into receptivity. Now, God does not see linear time. You don't have to be in a 10-minute meditation of stillness for creator to rush in. This is my experience. And that is what I mean by God does not operate in the human scene until you get out of the way. All right. Now, the mind, this is what Barbara Marcinet talks about. It's what all these spiritual books talk about. The mind that is used for good and evil. So the dualistic mind, that's the human mind. Nothing wrong with it. It's used to navigate the 3rd density. But if you want to go through the 3rd density, you're going to have to train the mind to be used. Very different. To be used. Be used by what? Not to be controlled or mind controlled. We know all about that side of things. To be used by the divine. To be used as an avenue of awareness. So how do we learn these principles? Well, we follow in the footsteps of those who've said God can be lived in. You can live in the atmosphere of God. You can live by grace. And I got heavily interested in that years and years and years and years ago. And these principles that I've been practicing, that I'm sharing with you, some of them, they work. They're demonstratable. They're tried and tested in my experience. And I want you to live by grace as well. Okay. So that is what I mean by that. I can go deeper into this, but I don't want to go too much deeper because of time. So, one more question. You can change your whole life in a split second. Yes, hot solstice, bang on. There are lots of great questions, guys, but I'm going to just do one more. I'm not going to answer that. Okay. Yeah, if you come for the meditation, guys, we always do the meditation at the end. Okay. So if I'm rambling too much, just watch the show back. We have a little bit of a show. All right. Well, I'm not going to answer that. Big question, though. Okay, let's answer this. Thanks, Dagmara, a member of our inner circle, Sister of Light. Thank you for that question. Do you ever have a harder time connecting in the morning? So I find that actually when I'm more tired, my mind is maybe less active, so I have an easier time. Okay, so morning, noon, or night. It does get easier, and you start to live in the atmosphere of God more. Okay, the more you do this, because you're literally rewiring your biological brain. Okay, oh God, that sounds scary. Well, shift is needed. Okay, change is needed, and the more you do this, the more you rewire the brain. So I think for me, and everyone's going to be different with this. If you want to tune into the most psychic time, potentially. Now, if you are of the mindset of I am, where there is no time, space, or thing which is more conducive to you connecting to God, you can do it anytime, anywhere, no matter what the condition. Now, God is not in the whirlwind. God is in the still small voice. Okay, to quote some scripture for you, which means you can find God in any situation. However, there are steps to build up to that. I get that. So if you're not feeling that, there's okay, nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Whatever you're doing is correct for your unfoldment. However, there is something called sidereal time, when the grand central sun, and the ancients knew about this, by the way, and the sidereal astrology, which is really true astrology. Highly encourage you to look into that. Tia, messages from Brianna B. From Tia of the Arcturians, talk about sidereal astrology. I'm very happy about that. And that's something that I follow much more than traditional astrology. It's more true sky astrology, but I won't get into that. So if you want to find a really, really powerful psychic time, download, I've got my phone here, an app that gives you the sidereal time of whatever it is, 1:30 is the most psychic sidereal time, where the grand central sun is in most alignment, highest alignment, most pure alignment with your particular time zone. So every time zone is different. But there's apps that calculate sidereal astrology time, or sidereal time. It's 1:30, I think, is the actual core sidereal moment, and it's different in every time zone, and it changes. So it's always changing, because the universe is, things are circling around in vortexes and cycles. But find a good sidereal app. I'll make a note to send this in the Patreon chat here. I will send you the app that I use for my most psychic work. I'm sort of moving away from that more and more, because the more you really just try and embody pure consciousness, the less these material things matter. But if you still want to use them, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it. I still do. So I will drop what app I use. I pay like $2 for it, I think it is, whatever it is. It's a paid app. So and I found it quite powerful. We used it in the Vortex tool for our meditations. So there we go. So I think for me personally, to finalize that, I probably am more receptive in the morning, but I'm doing 40, 50 meditations, sometimes an hour. I'm contemplating God multiple times an hour because I'm just in the practice of doing this now because I'm on a very, very dedicated, intentional path. And you don't have to be that dedicated and intentional. You don't. But the more you want to receive the grace of God, the more intentional you're going to have to be. So bear that in mind. Mastery is accomplished. Okay, it's action. Okay, here we go. 60 seconds, guys. If you need a bathroom break, go pop to the bathroom. If you need headphones, pop in headphones. We are going to layer in some music here and begin tonight's meditation installation with our brother Michael. I can feel him waiting in the wings. That's not going to make sense, but my third eye is buzzing, which means traditionally I'm feeling Archangel Michael's presence. Is how I feel him in my physical body. So here we go. No more questions. Sorry. I want to finish early tonight because we go on too long. So please let me know in the live chat now how the music sounds with my voice. Can you please let me know if the music is a good volume or whether my voice needs to come up or whether the music needs to come up? Let me know. If everything sounds good, give me a 5x5. When we have enough 5x5s in the live chat, we will begin tonight's meditation. So, now we'll keep talking until I get enough 5x5s because you need to hear my voice and you need to let me know how we are doing with the volume 5x5. Here they come. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's fine to do this meditation on replay, guys. No worries with that. But for those of you who are sticking around live now, let's get our power of collective intention together and really have a big one tonight. Excited for it. The work we are doing is powerful. Okay. 5x5. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, all of you. James, thank you, brother. Thank you, all of you, my friends. Okay, I invite you now to close your eyes. Take 2 or 3 deep centering breaths. We're going to bring in the archangels. If you haven't already, bring in your guides. Bring in your team of light. Invite them in to hold the space and hold the light. Take 2 or 3 or 4 deep or 5x5 centering breaths, making them round and circular, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, moving yourself into the present moment. Find the 0 point space for you. However you do that, the breath work or the work of the breath is a great technique to use. Breathing in through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Moving deeper into stillness with each breath. Being intentional, taking things seriously but not personally. Okay, call in the archangels with me if you feel called to do so. We call them in from the horizontal planes, beginning in the east. We ask for the presence of Archangel Raphael to join us, the Archangel of Air. He carries the green ray of clarity, clean perception, and clean mind. Join us in the east, Brother Raphael. To the south, Archangel Michael, our dear brother. who carries the blue ray. He's the Archangel of Fire. The energies of courage with love, protection without fear. Call upon Brother Michael now to join us in the south, and to the west, Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel of Water, who carries the diamond white energy ray of mercy, softness, emotional cleansing. Join us in the west, Brother Gabriel. And last but not least, the north, Archangel Uriel, the Archangel of Earth carrying the red ray of stability, groundedness, embodied presence. 4 archangels, 4 directions. We also call upon the great masters, who I'll name by familiar name. If I leave anybody off, call them in as well, to join us to hold the light, to imbue us with their love light energy, to help us focus on the light. So we ask for the presence of Jesus the Christ, Yeshua, Saint Germain the loved one. Bring them in with me as I speak, if you feel called to do so. Zoroaster, the king. Zarathustra, the magi. Lao Tzu, the old sage. The Buddha. Babaji, the eternal one. Lahiri Mahasaya, the smiling guru. Sri Yukteswar, the teacher. Paramahansa Yogananda, the gift. El Moria, the Lord of the First Ray. Kuthumi, the great guiding light. Dwal Kul, the master teacher. Paul, the Venetian. Hilarion, the bringer of joy. Serapis Bey, the Lord of Ascension. Paul the Venetian. The English Master, Douglas Baker, the keeper of this ashram. Call them in, invite them in. We call upon Sanat Kumara, the planetary Logos, the energies of the Ancient of Days. We invite in the goddess energy of Isis, the Great Mother. We call upon Mary Magdalene and the High Priestess energies, the Great Divine Feminine Return. Krishna, the Avatar. Kuan Yin, the Incandescent One. Aina, the Ninth Dimensional Guide. Mohammed, the Prophet. And Joshua, who walked with God, the great masters and saints and sages who now pass the baton to us. The masters in you, family of light. Yahweh, divine connection in you. Saviors and sovereign beings in you. Let us reclaim it tonight. So now I invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose, but this time holding the breath at the top. Hold, 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 and bring your awareness to the pineal gland in the center of the brain. Activate, activate it. And when you're ready, release the breath naturally. Two more now. Another deep breath in and hold the breath at the top. activating the pineal, bringing the divine antenna online. Activate, activate. And when ready, release. Finally now, a third deep breath in through the nose. Hold once more at the top. Lighting up the cave. Activate, activate. And release when ready. Sinking in deeper to the 0 point. Allowing the breath to return to its normal state. It knows what to do. Let the body work. Trust in the divine hands that guide you. So we know now we can travel by thought. We can travel to any place and time in the universe. And if you are ready tonight to do the further work, let us travel together. So let us use the thought as a vehicle, a transportation path. Set the intention now to travel to your own personal pyramid of light. And in the speed of that thought, you are there. You land softly, lovingly, in a vast pyramid of light, crystalline and blue. There is a blue glow to this one that represents the unlocking of a new sovereign code within you tonight. The pyramid is vast, miles in all directions. High above you, at the very tip of the pyramid, a great crystal hangs. From it, a gentle rain of energy, sovereign energy, drifts down all over the pyramid. Tiny sparks of creator light like rain, settling over you like a beautiful snow. In the center is a table, and beneath that table, a violet flame gently burns, softly, warm, patient, ready to receive anything you are finished carrying. The flame flickers blue and violet. You notice a figure standing at the head of the table. It is our brother Michael, Archangel Michael. Outstretched as a hand to welcome you over, and using the power of thought, you travel over to give him a warm embrace. He invites you to lie on the table, and you do so comfortably and perfectly. You may see Michael, you may simply feel him, a tall, calm presence, a sword of pure blue flame. Whatever it is that your personal experience with him is. You have a feeling deep within that Michael is here for one reason tonight: to return you, to return every yes that you never truly gave, to restore the sovereign codex within you. All your life, as everyone was born into the old world, collected these quiet agreements, boxes you've never checked, pages you've never read, contracts you never saw. Each one left a thin cord in your etheric field, invisible to the naked eye, but felt in some way and somehow, and each cord has been drawing on your power a little bit every day. As you lie on the table now, you know It is time to remove those cords. Without resistance, lovingly, it is just time. Michael raises the sword gently. It is cast with azure blue flames, and with a slow, gentle pass, he sweeps the blue flame through your entire field, from above your head to beneath your feet. Simply allow, simply allow. You feel a releasing every time and every pass. The cords now release on their own, drifting like fine, web-like threads, drifting down, drifting away, drifting into the violet flame below, and the flame receives every one of them and turns them back into light. Let us rest here a minute as Michael goes back and forth with the sword, precisely but gently. With every turn of the sword, with every pass, you feel quieter, you feel more aligned. Feel into this now, how much of you just came home. Rest a moment in this energy. A lightness is coming over you. The removal of these binds, of the things that have been weighing you down. Now, when you're ready, bring your awareness and your attention to the center of your chest. There, deep inside, a small flame is waiting. It has always been waiting, dear one. This is the original free energy. Oh yes. The current that lights the stars. It was placed hidden in you before your first breath, and in all the long ages, it was never metered, never sold. It never once went out. It just required you to remember it was there all along. So breathe into that now. As you breathe with it, watch it rise. A golden white light filling your chest, filling your belly, your arms, your legs, until your whole body is glowing softly on the table, vibrating with the most divine energy. From this fire, if you feel called to do so, speak these words within. I am Source. I am Sovereign. I return home now. One more time. I am Source. I am Sovereign. I return home now. Feel how true those words are, and feel something stirring deep within, deep in your bones, the dormant sovereign codes, warming, waking, switching on now. Now, just above your heart, the light gathers and takes form. A small diamond of white-blue light. Two pyramids joined at the base, one pointing up, one pointing down. Your will rising and source answering. An octahedron has formed. This is the sovereign seed. And tonight together, we write 5 gifts into it, 5 codes for the family of Earth. Let us rest here for just a moment. Breathe into the seed now as we name them together. The first is the fire, the memory that source of all supply lives within, free forever. The second, remembrance, the words that unlock everything. I am source, I am sovereign. The third is consent, the knowing that a true yes is given in thought, in word, and in deed, and that silence was never a signature. The fourth code, discernment, the simple test that never fails. A true light multiplies your questions and hands you back to yourself. A false light demands your allegiance. The fifth code, the builder, the gentle pull towards the gardens, the circles, the communities of the new earth, the sovereign paradigm, and towards the ones still waiting to be born. It is born through you. Feel the octahedron, this great seed, grow brightly now, charged by your intention, charged by your will, charged by every heart of the family of light doing this together, right now, all around the world. Let us rest in this space as the activation anchors. And now the tip of the pyramid opens. A beam of light rises from the crystal above you, straight up, a shining column reaching into the sky. You feel yourself gently now lifting from the table, you and the great octahedron seed together, rising through the beam, up through the point of the pyramid, up and up and up. Up until you are floating in the soft dark of space, and below you, you notice the earth is there. For you have been transported to the planetary chakra, blue and white, turning softly, slowly, impossibly beautiful. All around Gaia, points of light are rising with you. Starseeds, family, thousands of us now, taking our places in the great ring around the earth. So take a hand to your left, take a hand to your right, and wrapped around the whole world, you can see it now, a vast field of soft blue and golden light, breathing and alive. Together now as one family, we lower our sovereign codex into this field. So watch your own sovereign seed, this great octahedron, drift from your hands in front of your chest, gently, slowly into the center of the circle. With everyone else doing the same, it merges with thousands of others, becoming one great sovereign seed, resting in the center and the heart of the world. This is the primary codex of the sovereign seed. All of ours joined together, ready for deployment. So now together we perhaps speak a law over it. And if you feel called to do so, repeat these words as I say them. This seed we give sleeps until it is asked for. It honors every soul's free will. And when any soul incarnate on earth truly asks, when a heart anywhere whispers, there must be more than this, I want to be free, this seed will answer. And it will indeed. It will open gently and give them the fire, the remembrance, the true meaning of consent, the gift of discernment, and the pull towards the builders and the communities of sovereignty already waiting for them. One honored yes at a time, until the whole earth remembers. With a flash of light now, feel the field accept it. Feel the collective heart of the world take the seed in and hold it safe. And let's seal it with these words. It is done. It is finished. It is sealed for the highest good of all. And so it is. So let us rest for a few seconds as this activation settles and seals. Imagine, if you will, those hearts yet to remember, yet to activate, yet to awaken. Imagine them finding their own path, these sovereign seeds, and the core sovereign seed lighting a way for them, showing them the sovereign way, connecting them to those on the sovereign path. See the new earth communities rising, growing, anchored in crystalline light. See your new abilities coming online, rising into a new body of light. And see the next chapter of Earth unfolding beautifully. And always remember, you are exactly where you need to be, with exactly everything you need to go exactly where you need to go. You are already enough, beloved one. You are already deeply enough. So hold your own sovereign seed close. And as you go about your day, your week, your month, share it with those who are brought to you, and make no mistake, they will be. For now, the great awakening, the great ascension is in motion, and it cannot be stopped. The family of light, the great pillars of this great temple being built. We do so silently, sacredly, in the love light energy of oneness. Om Dat Sat Om. Om Dat Sat Om. Om Dat Sat Om. And so it is. So it is time to return now to the physical body, and I will walk us back as I normally do. Give a nod to the member of family of light to your left and a nod to the one on your right. Our work tonight is finished, but it is far from over. Using the power of thought, we will travel back into the physical now, merging the etheric light body with the physical body. And I will give us a count from 5 to 0, 0 being the most awake and connected. 5, just using the intention to merge back into the physical now. In your place, wherever you are, in your home, in your city, in your country. 4, just moving the physical body gently, integrating the light, the sovereign seed, merging all bodies back into one. 3, just rolling the shoulders gently, backwards and forwards, back in the physical now. 2, just wiggling fingers and toes, ever so slightly. 1, just moving the head from side to side, about to be fully awake and fully present. And 0. When you're ready, eyes open, and welcome back. I will give you all a moment to come back in. There's no rush. Take your time. Okay, as we all come back. Welcome back, welcome back. Powerful one. Almost 1,000 of you live again. Where 2 or more are gathered, my friends. In God's name, in God's light, in God's love. Great things can happen. And there was certainly more than 2 or more there tonight. So thank you for joining us in that meditation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are joining us on Patreon in the live chat, I'll catch you there. If you're yet to sign up and want to join us, please come across. We welcome you with open arms. There's a wonderful community over there. But either way, thank you, all of you on YouTube who are watching. We've got some very exciting stuff planned. I've got all kinds of projects behind the scenes going on. I'm creating a whole tapestry of the Ascended Masters that we bring in, all of their caricatures so you can kind of picture them more. We have books launching. We have Valir's first book imminently launching. Watch out for that. There's going to be a heavy discount for Patreon members. We've got the Sovereign Academy, an entire curriculum of oneness teachings coming up. There's just lots, guys, lots going on. We've got a Telegram group launching soon. So come and join us. But either way, we'll keep broadcasting here on YouTube. I believe next week's live will be on Tuesday rather than Monday. I'll announce that in due course. So watch out for that announcement. But either way, thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you're doing to ascend, to rise higher, to rise in vibration. You matter. And if you want to create new systems, if you're fed up with old systems, go and build the new guys or seek out others. There are lots of sovereign communities building and waiting for you. And if you can't find one, build one. Now is the time. We must step towards our ascension. So I'm right there with you, and I'll catch you guys in the inner circle on Patreon. But I send you lots of love for an amazing week. Thank you for being here.